Hey you guys, it's Kristina and welcome back to the 14-day Fully Raw Bikini Body Challenge. I am so excited to have you here, and today I'm going to be doing a video different than any other video that I've done before. Typically, when I do a video, I pick one question and I make it a theme and I go about that video and I speak in depth about it. But today I'm going to be doing my very first FAQ video. About a week ago, I posted on my Facebook page that I was going to be doing an FAQ video and I asked for people to submit their questions. So today I've gone through and I've picked my favorite bunch of questions and I'm going to be answering all of those today for you. If you guys are just now joining the Fully Raw Challenge, don't worry, we have a few days left and I still want you to join and sign up. Submit your emails at FullyRaw.com and be sure to register there. You also can like and comment on all of the videos to be sure that you get a free ebook at the end of the challenge. For those of you who are in the challenge with me and almost at the finish line, I want to tell you that you're doing awesome. I have just posted today's meal plan and workout routine for you at FullyRaw.com. We're going to be starting off our day with our usual 32 ounces of freshly squeezed lemon water. Then we will be drinking a beautiful beet juice for breakfast that I absolutely know you will love. For lunch, I would love for you to have 1 to 2 pounds of grapes or 1 to 2 bags of grapes depending on how active you are and how much you want to eat. For dinner, we're going to be starting it off with a platter of mangoes, peaches, blueberries, and strawberries and oranges. And then for the main course, we're going to be having kale tacos with a mango gazpacho. What a delicious day. For your exercise routine today, I want you to walk, jog, or run for 1 hour straight. Yes, I know that I am upping your level of cardio, but this is what is going to help keep you moving, it's going to help keep you burning calories, and it's really going to help you feel good. If you would like to do more after this, you can always do 100 squats, or you can even do the workout routine video that I posted earlier on in this challenge that you can find right here. If you would like to do more, I've included a few more animated routines on the website at FullyRaw.com, and today I focused a little bit more on arm exercises, so doing 3 sets of push-ups, all at 25 repetitions each, doing some tummy toning exercises, and some more squats if you would like to do those as well. The first question that I would like to answer today was actually the most popular asked question on this post, and it had the most likes. And it was, where do I get my protein? And I would love to answer this question more in detail here, but I've already made a really awesome video that you can watch and you can share with your family and your friends, because the question, where do I get my protein as a fully raw vegan, is literally the most frequently asked question that I get. So definitely click on this link right here if you are interested in finding out where I get my protein. That will answer all of your questions. So one of my first questions comes from Cassie. And she asks, Kristina, what are the best natural cures for fatigue? And what should you do if you ever start to feel dizzy? Well, Cassie, if I ever start to feel tired, fatigued, or dizzy, I know that it's because of one of 3 things. And the first thing would be is that I didn't eat enough during that day. Maybe perhaps I haven't eaten enough fruit and I need more energy. If I'm tired, typically I go straight for the fruit. The other option would be that I didn't get enough rest that night, and so maybe perhaps you need to lie down and get a little bit more sleep. The other option would be that you're dehydrated. Sometimes before a workout, if I don't drink enough water, if I don't drink enough water in the morning and I get dehydrated, it may cause me to be a little bit dizzy. The next question comes from Benjamin, and he asks, do smoothies go bad if we make them the night before? Is there a tip to prevent them from going bad or the taste changing overnight? Benjamin, I have to tell you that usually when I make a smoothie, I make it right then and there and I drink it within the hour, because oxidation changes the taste, it changes the nutrient value, and it changes the color of the smoothie. If you leave a banana smoothie out on the counter for over an hour, it turns brown. And if you have to make your smoothie the night before for work, that is okay. We all live in the real world and we do the best that we can. There's nothing wrong with that. We just want to make the best optimal choices. If you have to make the smoothie the night before, I definitely recommend making it and then putting it into a closed glass-sealed container like a mason jar. You can stick it in the refrigerator. I think that's fine because if you freeze it, then you have to wait for it to unthaw. If the only time that you can make that smoothie is the night before, then I think that's great because drinking a one-night-old smoothie in the morning is far better than eating an Egg McMuffin. So I definitely know that we are all doing the best that we can, and I think making a smoothie the night before is great. Keep up the great work. The next question comes from Miss Amy, and she says, "The recommended amounts are way too large for me, especially the salads. I end up eating half or less of what's recommended. I'm tracking my calories and I am getting enough. And I'm switching the meals around because I can't make a smoothie or juice at work, so I have a salad for lunch. Is all of this okay? And is it still going to help me lose weight? Is it going to work?" Amy, the answer is yes, it will still work. I'm merely giving you recommendations on what I believe will be easiest for most people, on what is fastest for most people, and what will get people the fastest results. And if you can't eat all of the recommended amounts of food that I'm giving you, that's okay. It gives you something to work towards. I always tell people to please eat what feels comfortable with your body, but I'm giving you the proper amounts, that way you know what to strive for. The last thing that I want is for people to get hungry when they're doing this challenge or to feel fatigued or feel tired. I want them to know that you can eat as much as you want and still feel the benefits of this. But if you can't eat that much, that's okay too. Eat what feels comfortable for you and do this the best that you can. If you're seeing benefits and if you're feeling them, then you know that it's working. The next question comes from Inez, and she says, "I've read that it is not a good idea to mix sweet fruits with acid fruits in the same meal. What do you think about that? Thanks, Kristina. I love the color of your videos." Thank you, Inez. I very much appreciate your comment and it makes me smile. And I do want to say that it is not good to mix sweet fruits with acid fruits. An example of this would be bananas with oranges. Bananas are a very sweet fruit and have a low water consistency, and oranges are they're an acid fruit and they have a high water consistency. I made a video on my last 21-day challenge called Fully Raw Food Combining, and I definitely recommend that you check out that video. It will explain a lot of these intricacies and it will really help you to improve your digestion, beat belly bloating, and it will help you feel a lot better when trying to combine these foods and feel your best. So definitely check out that video as well. The next question comes from Michelle, and she asks, "I'm going to the bathroom a lot and my stomach is turning, but not as much as the first day. What can I do to help with this process?" Well, Michelle, I have to tell you that it's a long-standing joke that when you first start eating fully raw foods, you definitely go to the restroom a lot more because these foods are cleansing, they're detoxifying, and they get things moving. But I want you to realize that this is a good thing. This is a fabulous thing. It means that you are cleansing out all of the junk in your trunk. You are cleansing out your system so that you can feel good. I personally would rather have regular movements every day rather than hold things inside of me. The next question comes from Jenny, and this one's kind of funny. She said, "Kristina, do you get tired from chewing? And how do you eat such large amounts? I get full after 1 or 2 fruits." Well, Jenny, I have to tell you that when I first started eating fully raw, I got really tired of chewing. It was very difficult for me to chew 1 to 2 heads of leafy greens at night, but eventually I got used to it. Our typical average American diet is pretty much just cooked food, right? It's very soft food and it doesn't really involve a lot of chewing. But when you get into raw foods, you're required to move all of the muscles in your jaw, which is actually really great for your facial muscles, and it gives your mouth a workout. I promise it does get easier, and I personally love chewing my food. I love food, therefore I have no problem with it now, but it did take a little bit getting used to. The next part of Jenny's question was, how do I eat such large amounts? And I'll have to tell you that it did take me a few weeks to work up to eating larger amounts of fruits and vegetables. Keep in mind that fruits and vegetables are higher in water content but lower in calorie, which means that you have to eat more of them to get the energy that you need. However, I will say that if you get in a good workout before you eat, you get hungry and it increases your appetite and it allows you to eat more fruits and vegetables. I also want to remind you that your stomach is a muscle just like every other muscle in your body. And when you give it a good workout, when you give it more fruits and vegetables, it will expand and contract to whatever you give it. So keep the faith. I promise it does get easier. Keep chewing and keep working at eating enough so that you can feel enough energy throughout the day. The next question comes from Vanessa, and she asks, what is your opinion on juice fasting, and have you ever done it? And Vanessa, the answer is yes. I have actually done a 40-day long juice feast before. And I don't call it a fast, I call it a feast because I was definitely not depriving myself of any calories during this time. I was drinking copious amounts of juice and I was feasting on it to give my body the energy that it needed to still be able to function in a day-to-day life. I'm gonna do a future video on this 40-day experience for me. I'm sure many other people would love to see that as well. And I do want to add that I absolutely love juicing. I believe in its benefits, but I also believe that eating with juicing is absolutely necessary when you can. There's a time and a place for juice feasting, and there is also a time and a place for eating. So I will discuss that in a future video. The next question comes from Nathalie, and she says, hi Kristina, can I do this challenge while breastfeeding? What about the detox symptoms, and will it affect my baby? Thank you. Well, Nathalie, I have to say that this is another frequently asked question that I get from mothers who are just getting pregnant or starting to breastfeed and they want to start eating this way or living this lifestyle. And I want to ask you one question. If your baby is eating all that you are eating, wouldn't you want your baby to get the most nutritious foods possible and the most nutrition from you possible? Keep in mind that what you eat, your baby eats. So you do want to get in the highest form of nutrient-dense foods that you can, and these are raw foods. So whether or not you do want to go fully raw or stay half and half, both are a great choice. I know many women who have gone through their pregnancies and their breastfeeding processes being raw, and it has done nothing but good for them and their babies. The next question comes from Susan, and she asks, Kristina, do you take any supplements? How do you deal with the emotional side of going fully raw? Well, Susan, to answer your first question, at the current moment, I am not taking any supplements. I do get my blood check every 6 months, and at this point in my life, I am not deficient in anything. However, I will say that I am getting checked for iodine because I've heard some very different concerns about raw vegans being deficient in iodine lately. So I am getting those levels tested to see if I'm deficient or if I'm okay. If you would like to know my thoughts about B12 or vitamin D, I highly recommend that you check out my video called B12, Are You Efficient? And that will answer a lot of your questions, and you can click that right here. To answer the second part of your question, how do I deal with the emotional aspect of eating fully raw? This is a deep question because everybody comes from a different place. Everybody has different emotions that they're dealing with. Whether you are an emotional eater, whether you are self-sabotaging yourself with food, whether you are just trying to get out of negative patterns in trying to go fully raw, these are all important questions that need to be addressed. And a video that I would really love to recommend to you is called The Truth About Eating Fully Raw. It's more of my emotional videos, and you can find that by clicking that right here. My next fun question comes from Julie, and she asks, what are the best containers to keep the fresh-made juices and smoothies in while making them in the morning or your day out? Well, Julie, I know that if you were to Google online or go to Amazon and see any special type of smoothie or juice containers, I'm sure you would find some. But the ones that I prefer to use are glass mason jars because they're cost efficient, they're effective, and they're beautiful. And they're very simple and you can find them anywhere. My next questionee is Miss Becky, and she asks, if someone is not as active as you, do they still need to eat as much as you do in a day? And Becky, the answer is yes and maybe no. It really just depends on where you're coming from. I know many people who start off eating fully raw, and the first few days they're feeling stuffed because they're not used to eating this high water content food. However, in 2 weeks, they start feeling extremely tired and lethargic, and they're wanting to know why it's not working for them anymore. And the answer is because they're not eating enough and they didn't work up to eating enough and to getting to know their body in that way. Usually when I go back and I look at people's calories with them after they've been doing this a while, some people are only eating 700 calories a day and they don't even realize it. So what I like to recommend to people to do is always to strive for around 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day if you're not active. And if you are active, then I always say definitely do more. Keep in mind that raw food calories are not the same as cooked food calories. These are high nutrient dense foods, and you can eat more of them and not gain weight. You can eat more of them and actually lose weight. That's the benefit of eating these foods. However, I do want to say that if you are eating more than your body needs, you will gain weight. And if you are eating less than your body needs, you will lose weight. That is merely a simple formula and the fact of life. So you have to figure out the balance that works best for you. If you're feeling tired, then definitely eat more. But if you're feeling okay and you're right under the threshold, keep doing that until you need to make an adjustment. My next question comes from Corey, and they ask, if you're stressed out, will you see results from going fully raw? And the answer is absolutely. I cannot even begin to tell you how much that eating fully raw helps with stress, with providing your body with a whole new level of relaxation, of cleansing. My mother used to be on several different anxiety medicines and was extremely stressed all the time. But during our last 21-day challenge, she actually went fully raw. And it's a few months later, it's about 6 months later, and she's officially off all of her medications. And that is amazing. I know for me personally, I feel a lot less stress. I will say, though, however, that you really have to be willing to work on the emotional component of going fully raw in order for this to happen. When you eat fully raw, these foods are cleansing and they bring up a ton of emotions. So as they come up, you have to be willing to work on them, clean them out of your closet, get those skeletons out of the way, and I promise you do feel a lot better. These foods are also, they're calming when you eat them, and they're foods that love you back because they're so nutritious. When you don't have any deficiencies, you feel a lot better, and this definitely contributes or attributes to your stress levels. So the simple answer is yes. The next fun question comes from Carmen. And she says, I see you near a pool a lot, which makes me think that you don't use self-tanners. I could be wrong, but could you be having an overload of keratin? You've been looking very orangey lately. It's cool if you do use self-tanners, just curious as to what's the cause. Carmen, I have to giggle because I found this question to be quite humorous, and I do have to say that yes, I spend a lot of time in the sun. I spend a lot of my time on farms, at co-op, maybe perhaps by the pool. I spend a lot of time outdoors running, but I definitely want to comment here that I am totally against self-tanners. I am totally against tanning beds. The only thing that really touches my skin is the sun. And I believe it or not, but I don't really eat that many carrots, which have a lot of beta carotene, or papayas at this moment in time. But yes, this is my natural skin tone. I think it's okay. I definitely want to add that self-tanners and any type of chemical product or fake UV ray that you have to put on your skin goes against everything that I believe in terms of natural living. So if you can, I recommend 20 minutes of sunlight to your skin every day. Not only does it help you feel better, but it will help with your vitamin D levels, and it will give you a little bit of color to your skin. The next question comes from Estrella, and she says, why does it hurt when I eat a whole watermelon or mono meals? And Estrella, just like the question that I answered before, it does take time to be able to eat this much food or get accustomed to it. When eating mono meals specifically, your body's not used to digesting one thing at a time. For many people, it actually helps them with their digestion. It increases their digestion and their elimination, and it helps them to feel fuller faster and know when they're actually full. Sometimes when you eat things like bananas or watermelon and it's a mono meal, it may digest faster than foods that you are typically eating. For instance, it's a lot easier to eat one thing and to digest that one thing than it is to eat 12 different items and have those digest. So if you are feeling a stomachache after eating a mono meal, most likely your body is adapting to it. Eat a little bit less next time, or maybe perhaps leave a little bit of time in between your meals and eat throughout the day. This will help you a lot. My next question comes from My Rawsome Life, and they ask, do you think nuts and seeds are part of an 80-10-10 diet? And well, my love, I must say that I do believe that nuts and seeds are a part of an 80-10-10 diet or a lifestyle. I do recommend a low-fat diet for all of my followers here, but I will say that fat is a necessary component to your life, to your lifestyle, to your diet. Fruits and veggies have fats in them. Even fruits have a very trace amount of fats in them. You can still get a good amount of fats from them, and even greens. Nuts and seeds may have a higher percentage of fat in them, but they are still good to eat. If you're having a difficult time digesting nuts or seeds, blend them up in a smoothie or in your salad dressing for sure. If you can't handle the nuts or seeds very well, then go for the softer fats like avocados, like coconuts, or maybe even some durian. My next question comes from Tammy, and she asks, when you use your juicer to make the juice, what do you do with the pulp? Do you put it in the Vitamix or use it in a smoothie later? Well, Tammy, I have to say that usually when I make a juice and I have pulp, I put it into my garden and I compost it and I give it back to the earth. This really helps me to feel like I am giving back to the soil that gave to me. Sometimes if I'm juicing carrots, something that I like to do with my carrots is that I like to make carrot cake. And I made a delicious carrot cake for my birthday, and you can find that by clicking right here. And my last question comes from Hadil, and they ask, can you drink kombucha or fermented foods? What about raw sugar when you were on a raw diet? Well, Hadil, I must tell you that I'm not a fan of kombucha or fermented foods because they are not fresh foods. I highly advocate eating as many fresh foods as you can. And by fresh, I mean things that have an expiration date, things that haven't been sitting on a shelf for weeks and weeks on end fermenting. For me personally, I find that they give me acid indigestion or sometimes gas. I personally like to eat things that I know are truly fresh and that I can pick from the ground and eat right then and there. And I will also tell you that I do not consume raw sugars. I do not consume coconut sugars. I prefer to eat simply the sugar that comes in fruit because I believe that it is good for me and that it is a simple sugar that is easily digested by my body. I'm going to make a future video on why the sugars in fruits are good because that is also a frequently asked question that I get is this diet too high in sugar? So you guys can stay tuned for that video that will be coming in the future as well. All right, you guys, those are the frequently asked questions that were asked to me on my Facebook page, and I hope that you enjoyed my answers to them. If you guys have liked this video or appreciated me answering these questions, and if you would like for me to do more FAQ videos in the future, please give this video a thumbs up. If you guys need more tips, tricks, or recipes on how to go fully raw, please subscribe here to FullyRaw Kristina as we have an amazing, fun time building a community and learning about this lifestyle together. If you guys are participating in the Fully Raw Challenge, please be sure to submit your emails at fullyraw.com if you haven't already done so. And be sure to like and comment below and maybe even ask more questions below so that I can get ideas for future videos. If you guys want to follow me daily, you can also find me at Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter, all at FullyRaw Kristina. All right, you guys, I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of this absolutely stunning day, and I hope that you get to go and do the same. Sending you all my hugs and my love. Bye. The bird heard me. When I go poop, it's Fruity Pebbles. Kristina, are you pregnant? No. Kristina, do you have breast implants? No. No. And no.